Welcome Survivor, this is going to be another What Goes Where video, and I am Video42. As you can see, I'm holding an AK-47, and this one is spec'd for relatively closed-up combat. And this is obviously where you are close by and you want to shoot the zombies. And this 10 and this is 20, which works probably pretty okay. Once you get further out, you probably want to have one that is spec'd a little bit more for range, and this is at 30 meters. And this at 40 meters, so it sort of half works as a sort of a makeshift close-up marksman rifle. And we'll be looking at the different kind of mods that you could put on the AK-47 to make it more effective. And I'm going to split this into sort of a medium to close range configuration and a medium to long range configuration. Hopefully you find this video useful to get you a better idea of what mods you can be using and what mods you probably shouldn't be using to just be more effective using the weapon. And whether you agree or disagree, let me know in the comment section below how you mod out your AK-47. And of course, make sure you subscribe to my channel. That's the only way I can grow and keep providing these videos for you, all free of charge. It's a nice day here in Naviscane. Oh, pretty quiet. I'm at my base. I have at my checkpoint here. No zombies getting through. So let's have a look. And these are all the mods that you can put on the AK-47. If you have other mods, sorry, they do not fit. Something to keep in mind is that for the AK-47, like all tools and equipment and armor, they have different quality levels, 1 through 6. And depending on which quality level it is, it will allow you to stack 1, 2, 3, or 4 modifiers in it. A quality 1 will obviously, unfortunately, just do 1. Same thing with the quality 2, unfortunately, just 1 modifier slot. It's only when you get to 3 that you get 2 slots. Looking at number 4, also 2 slots. Number 5, fortunately, 3. But it's really the number 6 quality that you want to have because it allows you to have 4 slots. And this really makes a big difference. But let's have a look at quality 1. Now you only have 1 modifier slot. Obviously, you want to make sure you put in a color. A pink one is nice, not too bad. You could do something a bit more understated, like black or brown maybe. Pink, you know, everyone's going to have a look at you. Now this is really where you have to decide what you want to do with it. If you're going to do a longer range half sniper, you definitely want to put on a scope, and a 2x or preferably a 4x scope. You only have 1 modifier, so that's all you're going to get. If you're going to do close or medium range, it opens up a bit more variety to it because you don't need to put on the scope. And I've sort of grouped these the mods into sort of 3 groups. The first one is, I would say, the scope, and it really depends if you want to use the iron sights, which is pretty all right on the see like this. It's not too bad. It's not super good. I mean, compared to using, for instance, a 4x scope or a reflex scope, it's not as good, but it's passable at least. It does unfortunately cover quite a lot by the weapon. So if you want to have a scope, that's one group. Second one is really the tier where I would probably take it most of the time unless you really want something else, which is the drum magazine, which doubles your ammo. Magazine extender is an extra 50%. Silencer is always really good. You can do it at night when you're clearing PIs without waking up all the zombies. Cripple them, really good because I have a 20% chance to cripple. A red remover disables the regeneration ability of radiated zombies for 90 seconds, which is actually really good in some cases. We have a couple of trigger groups. We have the burst mod if you want to do 3 shots at one go. Semi-automatic doesn't really seem to make much of a difference because you can just tap fire it. Rod and spring is pretty good if you want to shoot a lot of bullets in one go. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it because you waste it quite a lot. Barrel extender might be good if you're sniping, but again, these ones are probably better. You have the laser sight, again, close up is all right. Foregrip might help. Retracting, muzzle brake, full auto again doesn't really help you because it already has it. You could have the flashlight, but having on mining helmet is better. Bipod doesn't really do much as well. And lastly, the hunter mod, if you are shooting players, this one might be good. If you're shooting zombies, it doesn't really help that much. So with 1 slot close up, I would probably look at either the silencer because it allows you to be a lot more sneaky when you're clearing PIs, or one of the magazine extender mod, either the regular one or the drum one if you can craft that one. If you don't have any of these ones, cripple them or rad remover can be really good as well. As we move to Q2, we have 2 modifier slots, and so let's look at the ranged one. Again, make sure you put on a scope because you're trying to use it at range. But now because you have one extra slot, you really have more choices. These ones I would avoid doing unless you don't have anything else. I would consider silencer, sniping them without letting them know where you are, or potentially rad remover or cripple them just to help knock them down or remove their radiation for healing. You could do a larger magazine, but again, if you're at a distance, you probably don't care as much. Reloading shouldn't be an issue because you're not going to be spam firing. You're not going to do full auto. The rest of these ones could be used. One particular ones might be worthwhile as the barrel extender. If I put it on, you'll see you get a slightly better range. In some cases that can be useful, but again, a silencer is probably better. Now, if we go to the close and medium range, I would probably go for reflex sight mod. I like using that one over the iron sights. And as a second one, I would probably go for a better magazine. Again, it allows you to have so much more bullets in the magazine without reloading, which can be really good when you're clearing POIs. It doesn't give you those 2 seconds or 3 seconds to reload, which can really save your life. So we're now at quality 5, where we have 3 modifiers. Starting up with the range one, always, again, make sure you have the 4x scope. You can put on the 8x scope, unfortunately, but 4x scope is not too bad. Still, I would put on the silencer, or if you don't really care about that one, use the barrel extender and one of the cripple them or rad remover, probably, depending on what situation you are. Cripple them can help if you're having a bunch of them attacking you or running towards you, because you should probably be able to cripple them by the time you put a few shots into each of them. And that'll give you more time to just deal with the whole horde. For Blood Moon hordes, I would probably use the rad remover because having them heal up is really annoying. And close and medium range, good question. I would probably do reflex mod because I really like that one. I would put on a magazine extender and probably cripple them. The reason this one is good is because every 5 shots is guaranteed almost. I mean, 20% times 5, you're likely to cripple them every 5 shots. And if you have something like 60 bullets in your magazine, it means you'll be able to cripple them quite often. And if they're close up, well, you definitely don't want them to get too close and kill you. If you don't have the cripple them, you really want a super close oh shit weapon. The rod and spring is really good because it does increase the fire rate a fair bit, and that just helps you put more bullets into the zombies. And for the top tier, if we're going to use this as a sort of a marksman rifle, put on the scope, put on the silencer, and I would probably either go between, let's say, cripple them and rad remover, or possibly the barrel extender if you're shooting at long distances. I think that this is probably what I would do, because this is enough for you to put the shots down range with a fork scope. Silencers, you don't attract all the attention. You do lose a little bit of range though, keep that in mind. But with the cripple them and the rad mover, that's probably pretty good. 30 meters is still fairly good. If you don't want to use that, you could put in potentially the barrel and get 10% extra, but then you can't use the silencer, and I really like the silencer, but this would work as well if you don't care about not attracting the attention from the zombies. And for close and medium range configuration, when you have a quality 6, I would go for a big magazine. That always is helpful. I would also put in the cripple them and the rad remover if I can, and a scope. And if you don't want to have the scope, you could, for instance, put in the silencer if you are using that one as well, if you're pretty good at aiming. But I love to use the scope, so that's what I would put in. So here you have 2 potential configurations, a long range with the scope, barrel extender, and a rad remover on the cripple them. As you can notice, I really love using this one. The closer up is reflex sight and the drum magazine. As you can see, the way it works is that you will be sniping at a distance, and it's pretty powerful to use it that way. 4x is probably around 40 meters that you can comfortably be shooting at. As you get further away, at least for me, it's a little bit too tough. I'm maybe not good enough, but 40 meters roughly would work pretty well. And of course, if you're having them close up, having the close up configuration is probably a lot better. You can see I can lay down quite a lot of fire here before I have to reload, which is really helpful. And again, the drum magazine really helps with that. And even if these ones were radiated, a bunch of them probably would have lost their radiation and been crippled. But just here, you'll see them all coming, and if they come too close, you can hopefully get them a little bit crippled so they stop running at you. You can see someone then get knocked down, and someone obviously get stunned as well, but it really helps you to take the pressure off, because you have a lot of ammunition. And even if you don't kill them, they get knocked down, which is really useful in keeping them away from you. As you notice, I'm not in God mode because I was, actually I forgot about it. I didn't want to die here. But as you notice, just using up the whole magazine, I can kill a bunch of the radiated bikers without a big problem. And that is how I would do it. So what about you? How would you configure your AK-47? Do you have any other preferred mods that you would really want to have? There are a number of mods that I have in the list here that actually work, and there's a fair bit of mods that you can put in your AK-47. And it really, even if you don't have these top ones that I would recommend, if you have something else, put them in, because you'll notice that the damage always goes up. So this one does 61 basically without anything in it, and if I put in 65, I put in 70, then it goes up to 74 and 78, and that's a big difference from 61. So even if you don't have the specifics with more magazine or silences the shots or a scope, put in whatever you have, because the damage will go up. But you might have a preference for something else. Let me know in the comment section below. And if you have some other equipment or tools or weapons and armor that you want me to go through my modding tips and my thoughts, let me know in the comment section below. And I'll see you again next time.
Special thanks to the great patrons supporting the channel. If you would like to join the vetted community and support these videos, do follow the Patreon link.